Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator weather forecast. Today I'll be covering the weather for September 10th of 2023, and currently we have a slight risk for southwestern Kansas into the Oklahoma Panhandle and the Panhandle of Texas and parts of southeastern Colorado here, with a marginal threat that does extend across western Texas as far north as parts of southeastern Wyoming here. So we do have a fairly large area for severe thunderstorms, but we don't have multiple areas for severe thunderstorms, just this location. So today's video shouldn't take too long. I do have to make this one kind of fast because I do have plans later today, so this video may come off a little short. But as for our threats for today, we do have a 2% tornado threat for the slight risk region, and as for wind, we do have a 15%, which is going to be a secondary threat for us for the severe thunderstorms that we see today. However, our primary threat is going to be this 15% hail threat, with the possibility of large to very large hail across the slight risk region. Taking a look at the tropics, primarily focusing on Hurricane Lee here. Currently, Hurricane Lee is a Category 2 hurricane. It was kind of possible that it could weaken back down to a Category 2 hurricane yesterday. I did say that it would yesterday, but then that was removed. But currently it is a Category 2 hurricane, but that is expected to strengthen back up to at least a Cat 4 hurricane with these few M's here. I think anywhere from 2 p.m. on Monday to the early morning of Wednesday. So we are definitely expected to see a increase in intensity with Hurricane Lee again, but then it is expected to weaken back down to anywhere from Category 1 to Cat 1 status. So it is expected to weaken back down, but as for the path that it is going to take, it doesn't really look like it's going to come anywhere close to the eastern United States of North Carolina, Virginia, or South Carolina. It looks like it is just going to veer off to the north and possibly lead to impacts across the New England region. It hasn't really been definitive yet because it's so far out if it's really going to impact the New England region. As of right now, it looks like it could skim some of the coastal regions off of the New England region. However, that's not even really certain as of right now. It could stay out to sea and maybe lead to some higher tides and some rip current. But as of right now, it doesn't even really seem that it is going to impact the eastern United States of Virginia, North Carolina, or South Carolina. But it could still lead to some impacts across the New England region. Taking a look at our radar Omega models, starting off with our 500 millibars like we usually do, focusing on the slight risk region. If I draw our wind vectors here, it is going to look something a little bit like this, and you can see that we do have some veering of the winds right around the slight risk region, which will definitely support that 2% tornado threat and the possibility of 1 or 2 brief tornadoes. However, with the mountains to the west of this, our mid-level flow is going to be able to get above those mountains. However, a lot of the low levels are not going to be able to get past that mountain. So it is going to lead to some more elongated photographs and support the possibility of some large to very large hail across this region, which again will be the primary threat for storms across this region for today. However, do keep in mind we could still see the possibility of damaging winds and the threat for 1 or 2 brief tornadoes across this region. We do have a little bit of ongoing convection for some of the northern central plains states across South Dakota and Nebraska. This is going to develop into a cold front later today and propagate eastward across the Ohio Valley. It isn't really going to trigger any severe thunderstorms, but it is likely going to trigger some rain showers across the Ohio Valley, anywhere across the Midwest into the Ohio Valley, like states like Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, and some of the other states around that could see some rain showers later this week with that cold front that does pass through. However, storms are not expected to be severe, but we could see maybe the threat of some damaging winds, some weak damaging winds with this cold front, but it isn't going to be too bad. Taking a look at our dew points, we are expected to see some fairly moderate dew points compared to what we've been seeing a lot of this month and the last couple months, with dew points that were in the 70s and mid-70s and even into the upper 70s. We are expected to see much weaker dew points compared to those with this slight risk region. We are expected to see dew points that are going to be ranging anywhere from the upper 50s into the low and mid 60s, which will definitely lead to some much more moderate instability. However, we could see Cape values that could range anywhere from 2,500 up to the 3,000s range. Taking a look at our temperatures, let's focus on Texas here. You can see that the storms yesterday definitely did cool down a lot of the heat that was in the hundreds and above, and has dropped it back down to temperatures in the 90s, which is still pretty hot. However, it isn't temperatures of 100 and above. However, we could still see some temperatures that are reaching 100 and above across Texas, across southern Texas here, and maybe small parts of western Texas. Anywhere where you see these maroon colors is going to mean temperatures of 100 and above. So we are expected to see some temperatures of 100 and above across Texas. However, it is significantly less because of the storms that we had yesterday. And we could even see a little bit of some temperature drop by tomorrow as well, with some of the storms that we have today as well. So we are expected to see a continuous decrease in heat across Texas with these storms that we have going on. But then if you take a look at the cold front that I mentioned, I can't really go too far. Anywhere past 31 is unavailable to me. However, you can see that we do have that cold front there. And as I did mention, it is expected to make its way eastward, but it isn't really going to trigger anything severe. It is going to trigger maybe some damaging winds, but mostly just rainfall. And taking a look at our instability, focusing on the slight risk region, you can see that we do have some fairly strong instability across that region with the dew points that we have and the temperatures that we have. We could definitely see Cape values that are going to be ranging anywhere from the mid 2000s up to the low to possibly the mid 3000s across the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma and southwestern Kansas. This will definitely provide enough fuel to support the possibility of some damaging winds and the primary threat of large to very large hail with the elongated photographs that we have because of the mountains to the west, as well as with the veering of the winds that we had. We could definitely see the possibility of 1 or 2 brief tornadoes across this region. Taking a look at our energy helicity index, focusing on the 2% tornado threat region, you can see that we do have some fairly strong widespread energy helicity index readings that will definitely be indicative of that 2% tornado threat. It does go very far outside of the 2% tornado threat boundary, and we could maybe see a increase in size of with that 2% tornado threat boundary by 12:30 EST with that new SPC update, as we do have some fairly strong energy helicity index readings outside of that 2% tornado threat. However, across this region, we are definitely going to see the possibility of 1 or 2 brief tornadoes with the instability that we have and the veering of the winds that we had with that jet stream. So do keep that in mind if you do live across this region, and watch out for that SPC update by 12:30 EST. Now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator, and join the Discord for any updates on Project Gladiator. And if you live in any of these areas that I covered for today, please stay alert for the time being, and hopefully I will be able to see you guys tomorrow with another forecast.